We are live. Good morning, good morning, good morning, South Florida. Hello, world. I'm Robert Henderson Jr. I'm the president, founder, CEO of the Henderson Financial Group located here in Miami Lakes, Florida. We have a wonderful full service financial planning firm, been around for more than 30 years. We serve people all over the country and out of the country. We love what we do. We break it down to you like we're a 6 year old, like you're a 6 year old. We simplify and demystify the whole world of financial planning, money management, and estate planning. And joining me live here is my brother from another mother, my partner, co-host, Mr. James T. How you doing, James T?
Rob, I am really doing well. I'm going to share something with you. A couple of things before we get started today, and we're going to have some guests. I understand, but before we get started today, Rob, on yesterday, I worked like a slave. I
Yeah.
worked- Rob, I
You worked
told a,
like a slave yesterday?
I told a gentleman that I was working with. He's one of my tenants, and I told him he's from Cuba. I said, if I was working for you, I tell you, don't look for me tomorrow. And multiple times during our workday, I say, I quit. I quit. I quit. I quit.
Hey,
Rob.
you sound like Mr. Kevin Cooper. I see him backstage
Yeah,
moving
yeah,
around.
yeah.
We'll
Right,
call him
right,
on later.
right, right.
But you
Oh,
you
Rob, I was, man,
you was working, like physically working, James?
Rob, can you imagine that? I was
You
literally,
physically working? What were you
okay,
doing? Tell the
okay.
audience what James T,
Rob,
the
Rob.
entrepreneurial radio communications legend, you was physically working. What were you doing?
Rob, literally, literally cutting tops out of trees, piling them up. Look at see how you choked up. That's Rob. Ooh, that's another story. But the other part is we have been, man, we've been getting people as you get all the time, and I'm getting it more and more with people inquiring why we do what we do. Now, I got that all week from every time, and I'm saying, wait a minute, what's really happening? But I think what is really happening, people are realizing that a job won't get it anymore. Having a job, I think that we have come to the realization. And here was one question when I explained to people what we do on our Saturday show. They asked something. I said, you know something? That would be a good topic for Rob to speak to. She said, well, one of the ladies, the final lady said, why do you guys do what you do? Rob, that's a great question. And I don't think people would believe us when we tell them why we do what we do, but we're operating, for, in a giftedness, and we want to serve. I'm being um, inducted into the Black Radio Hall of Fame coming in September, right?
Uh-huh.
And one of the things I've shared with the people who, was talking with me, James, give me some background. I said that would take 54 years, but nevertheless, the short of it is, choosing Rob to serve. Choosing, I mean, I don't think people get that part of what we do, because they believe, well, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. No, but it does earn money. It does earn peace of mind. Hey, and I shared in a conversation this morning, I said, I can't give as much as I get. Woo, Rob.
That's right.
You can never give as much as you get. And if you work at trying to continue to give, it's almost like planting a daily seed. So, Mr. Henderson, why do you do what you do?
Well, first of all, it's service, and I believe the purpose of all mankind was actually to serve and love and share. As soon as you realize that, then your life changes. I mean, it really, really, really changes. We're all here as servants, and we all here to love and share, and to know that there's plenty. There's no shortage of nothing. Anytime they tell you a shortage, something we run out of something, don't ever believe them. That's just all make believe, and they try to scare you. There's no shortage, especially no shortage of goodness. There's just no shortage. And if anybody wants to become more financially prosperous, all you got to do is serve. The key to wealth is serving, and it's serving in different types of ways. If you think about it, if you look at the whole big picture, the whole totality, the whole micro, macro of finances, it's all serving. I mean, I tell people all the time, when you look at someone like Hilton Hotels, they're serving. You know what I mean? When you look at, even the airlines who make so much money, they're serving. When you look at Google, you look at Apple, they're serving. They're serving you. They're serving you a product. They're serving you a service. It's all about service. So the key to wealth, if you want to build wealth, you have to serve more. Show me someone who don't have no money. I'll show you somebody who ain't serving nobody. That's it. It's a simple equation. It is. I mean, it's a simple. If you have a beautician and she says, I have no business, I'm broke, I have to go out of business, that means she's not serving people. If she was serving people and serving them well, and the better you serve people, the more wealth comes to you. So if you have a beautician or you have a lawn server, just name the industry, and they said that they have no business, I'll show you they're not serving correctly. You have to serve the people where they actually want to go in their pocketbooks, and reward you for giving them something that they want, they feel they want, or feel they need. And that's as soon as you understand that equation, then it's no one way to become wealthy. It's no one way to prosper. I mean, you can become prosperous washing cars. There is no industry that somebody didn't get rich. I mean, even this styrofoam cup here. I mean, this paper cup. Someone, whoever the company is, they sell a lot of these. They sell billions of these.
Probably all over the world.
But you can't say, hey, in order to become wealthy, you have to be a stockbroker. No. There are people who deal in cement. They serve a lot of people. They're very wealthy. I mean, if you go just look at Millionaires Row in Miami and take a little coastal boat ride, you have people this one guy that got a zipper company. He's serving military. He's serving zippers. I mean, zippers for your pants. Zippers. He got a zipper company. It's still service. And it depends on how much you service. So it's no one way for prosperity. So service. That's why we into the service business. That's why we into the service business, Amen. So I want to say hello to I see sister-in-law Linda backstage also. We're gonna call her in. Lovely to see her.
Did she have her stylist come to her home, bro?
Yeah, she always she just pop them up like boom, stylist. I see Mr. Kevin Cooper. He's handsome. He's in the back also. We
got a big show today.
Before we bring them in, we got all four of them, man. We got 4 people today, y'all. So Carol Miller, stand back. Adrian, Mr. and Mrs. Redhead, Parnell, good morning. Miss Anna Dupree, good morning. Hey, Jay, I just made my donation to Anna Dupree and them at the Urban Construction CAF Academy. And that's one place I'm happy to give. I'm a cheerful giver. I call them and say, send me my form so I could give.
Brother Bill and his staff, man, some beautiful people. And one of the things too, Rob, about serving, the law of attraction. You attract other people that will join you in your serving, and they too can increase their lives through serving, through your service. When young people used to come into the studio and, they see all the equipment and say, you operate all this, da-da-da-da-da. I said, whoa. This is not who I am. This is what I use in order to serve.
That's right.
I said, this is not who I am now. Don't get it twisted, right? So when you can connect with people who are serving, you become a part of the service because you add to it. And particularly if you can get the same joy. But if you're just there for a salary, then you're in trouble. You're in trouble. But anyway.
And it's good to be around people that are doing different things and serving. Now we're going to bring on my sister-in-law. She's my partner here. She's out serving because she's really working on our development projects. So she's definitely serving. I tease her about it all the time because she couldn't run for office because she She knows so many people, and people know her. They just recognize her, and she's
Hey,
just on the beat, man.
don't
I,
don't tempt
I,
don't tempt her. Don't tempt her, Rob. She
I was surprised to see her name went on the ballot. I started just writing in.
I would have voted for Linda.
And Kevin Cooper, man, this guy, we started talking about public adjusting and how this guy serves and how you don't know what you don't know. So today we're going to talk about the roles of a public adjuster and the in and out. Kevin Cooper is going to take us backstage and tell us what's going on. So let's bring sister-in-law in, and we're going to bring Mr. Cooper in. Sister-in-law, how you doing?
I'm great. How y'all doing?
Good.
Good to see you, Linda.
Good to see you too. Yes, I will be running for office, probably Hollandale Beach. I expect donations. So yes.
Well, you locked in with that. Hey, we're gonna lock you in. We're gonna lock you in.
What you gonna be, a developer and run a development part of the Henderson Finance Group and be the mayor? What are you gonna be, a mayor or a senator? Congress? What are you gonna be?
Madam Councilwoman.
Oh man, you like that name. You already got it figured out. Let me bring in Mr. Cooper, see if he's gonna run too. He's a server. Mr. Cooper, how you doing, brother?
I'm great. Good morning, Mr. Henderson, Mr.
Good
James
morning.
T, Mrs. Harris.
Good
How's
morning.
everyone?
Good morning.
Good.
Blessing to see you all this morning.
Good to see you too, man. I see you out there on your patio or somewhere, huh? Chilling.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Just warming up a little bit.
Warming up? Yeah, in South Florida, you definitely warming up.
Rob,
But I'm in the shade, though. It's fine.
Rob, I gotta say that this gentleman and Mr. Cooper, we were discussing you last week, and I told of a classmate of mine that I don't know how many times he told me, James T, thank you for introducing me to this man. And of course, Robert and I think we met you back when we were at 1080, right, Rob?
Yeah.
And when we had the event and it filled up the room, and another gentleman, Mr. Jim Sears, talked about how he had gotten with the company and informing people that, wait a minute, when that insurance company sends that person out for you to write a claim or write up a claim, don't forget that person works for the insurance company.
That's right.
But you make a difference. Tell us about it.
Myself, as a public adjuster, I'm licensed by the state of Florida. I'm licensed to negotiate insurance settlements with the insurance company for the homeowner. I'm an advocate for the homeowner. I work for the homeowner. So when you call your insurance company, they send out an adjuster. That adjuster gets paid by State Farm, Citizens, Tower Hill, whoever the insurance company is. And their goal is to make you whole. Their goal is to pay you for the claim that you filed. But they work for the insurance company. So if they could minimize your claim, that's what they'll do. As a public adjuster, I work for the homeowner. I'm an adjuster, but I don't work for the insurance company. I work for you, and I want to maximize your claim. So sometimes insurance companies, in a nutshell, we call it like they want to pay for a Band-Aid when they should be paying for surgery. And my goal is to maximize your policy, get you every penny you're entitled. There's 4 major parts of your policy. There's the dwelling, which is the building, the structure. There's personal property. There's all the contents in your property. And there's something called other structures. That's a fence, shed, patio, outdoor things. And then you have what they call ALE, or loss of use. If your home is broken or your property is broken and you're not getting rent and you can't live in it, then the insurance company is obligated to pay you to go live somewhere else or compensate you for the money you're losing for the rent you're not getting. So those are the 4 major parts of your policy.
I got a question. So, Mr. Cooper, and what you're stating to us basically the rules and the regs and what the homeowner is entitled to. And what you're stating to us is this rule is just for one particular area, or it's for the whole nation, anybody who's listening around the country?
This is for the state of Florida. Every state has different rules and regulations, but for the state of Florida, your insurance company is obligated to come out and assess your property when you have a claim. They're obligated to do that. But sometimes they'll just try to settle it over the phone if they can. You don't want them to do that. Before you call the insurance company, you're better off calling someone, an advocate for yourself, who can assess the claim, put together an estimate. So when the insurance company comes out, instead of them telling you what they think you should have, you could already have something in your hand to hand to them to say, this is what I'm entitled. Then you try to negotiate that. You're not going to always get every penny that you want, but at least you have some type of ammunition to say, hey, this is what I'm entitled. This is what I'm due. So they have it's up to them to figure out what you don't get instead of them figuring out what you do get.
So let me ask you a question, and let's play right. I mean, let's give me an example of a case, in the typical case, that an uninformed homeowner may face. So let's just say Mr. Walker comes home and he opens the door and his house is flooded because in the laundromat the washer hose became it broke, and he comes home and it's just water all over the house. What's the reaction of a typical law-abiding good citizen? How do they normally react, and tell me what takes place, and walk us through the steps what usually take place and what the homeowners miss?
So typically when a homeowner has a loss, the first thing comes up is panic. Like, the homeowner doesn't know what they're entitled. They really don't know what to do, and they just assume that calling the insurance company is the best thing to do to get everything fixed. So if you have a water loss, if there's water all over your house, you need to do what they call mitigate the damages. There's a company that needs to come out to dry it up, to dry up the water, to make sure they pull the baseboards, to make sure you don't grow mold and mildew behind the walls. That's number one. You want to mitigate it. And when you call them, the first thing the insurance company is going to ask you if the water's continually leaking and if you mitigate it. So if it's a leak from a pipe, from a washing machine, from a dishwasher, from the refrigerator supply line, any of those supply lines could flood your home. So you want to get a plumber to stop the leak. That's the first thing you want to do. And sometimes if you call the insurance company, that doesn't happen right away. So if the homeowner knows a public adjuster or has a plumber or knows someone that could do that, they could help them in that process. So once you mitigate it and stop the water from leaking, then we need to get it dried out. That's your next course of action. Not to just get it dried out, but when that starts, the homeowner needs to start documenting what's damaged. The homeowner needs to take a video, take some pictures, like whatever's damaged. You don't just want to take the carpet and throw it out. You want to take pictures. You want to document all the things that are wet. There are different types of water that comes from your house that could damage your house. So if the toilet overflows, that's called category 3 water. That water has bacteria in it. So that's a little different from if it's clean water from the dishwasher or clean water that's coming from the back of the refrigerator. Those are two different types of water, but both of them can ruin your home. Both of them can cause severe damage in your home. So the main thing is getting it documented and getting someone to assess the damages for you and not panic, because there are people that are in the industry to help you get through that. So the homeowners don't have to panic. They just need to call someone who works in the industry, just like financial planning. Instead of them just assuming where to invest their money, they call you, Rob, and you take care of that for them.
Okay. But what typically happens? Give us a case of what typically happens, because we want to see before and after. We want to say what typically happens and then what should have happened.
So what should typically, when the homeowner comes in the house and they see water all over the place, in a nutshell, the homeowners panic.
Right.
They don't know what to do. They don't know where the water's coming from. The first thing to do is probably go out and turn the water off if they can, outside the house, if they can, or go out to there's a spigot on every side of the home that has a shut-off valve. So if you shut that water off, then that's going to stop the water from leaking anymore. At that point, you'd want to call a public adjuster if you knew one, or you want to call someone that does mitigation or a plumber and get someone in there to help you to make sure that it's not continually leaking. So once you get the water stopped, then you want to start documenting what's damaged. You want to go to every room. You want to make sure you take pictures and make sure that your things aren't being damaged, like, you know, your computer or your electrical appliances or your television or whatever you have. So you find the source of the leak, you cut off the leak. Once you do that, now it's time to start seeing what's damaged and what you're owed from the insurance company. You're going to call the insurance company and they're going to send someone out within 24 to 48 hours. But that person needs a layout of what happened. So the homeowners aren't always able to tell the insurance company what happened and how it happened and what's damaged. So at that point, if you hire a public adjuster, then we could do that for you. We could also take pictures, take measurements, put together a portfolio. So when that adjuster from the insurance company comes out, we could hand them all the things that are damaged, all the things you're entitled, and wrap it up and put it on in a little bowl and say, here, this is what the homeowner's entitled for this loss.
Right. So I know what you say should happen.
Right.
I want you to tell the people what happens.
Okay, so if the homeowner doesn't call a public adjuster, this
What
is
really
what
happens all the time.
This is what really happens. They call the insurance company. That
Right.
insurance company sends out an adjuster. So that adjuster that works for the insurance company is employed by the insurance company, and they pay them every week, every month to help them process the claims. So when that adjuster comes out, unfortunately, that adjuster is not always looking to maximize your claim, because that adjuster gets a bonus or a promotion if they minimize the claim. No insurance company wants to come out and give you 50, 70, 80, 150 grand. If they can. If they can prevent giving you that, then they'll pay you as little as possible. They're only obligated to make you an offer. And if you accept that offer, then that's all you get. But when you understand and realize that that offer is not what you're entitled, then you don't trust them as much. So when that person comes out, they're not telling you how to maximize your claim. They're not telling you that if these floors are continuous, you're going to get all new floors. They're not telling you if your kitchen's damaged or swollen or warped, you're entitled to a new kitchen. They're not telling you you're entitled to a new baseboard. They're not telling you you're entitled to have all your furniture put out in a pod. And they're not telling you that you get ALE, you could go live in a condo or a hotel while your home's being repaired. They're not telling you those things. So if the homeowner is not aware of that, then they're just not going to give you that information because your hair is beautiful or because your last name's Henderson.
Yeah, I remember you've told me horrible stories and stories that you say the average good law-abiding citizens, what they do. You say, I remember you told me that one guy came home and one side of his cabinet, kitchen, one side of the cabinet burnt. And he called the insurance company and they came out and they just replaced that cabinet. He didn't know that, he could have got more because smoke was all in the house. And they don't just come out and give you, $5,000 or $10,000. I mean, they'll come out and try to give you that if you don't know your rights, rather than saying, hey, you need to have a whole kitchen. And you told me that. You told me sometimes people come home who know the game and know what's happening. They come home and they see a flood. They just go to the movies. And some people start saying, oh, Lord, and they start taking kitchen towels and blankets and trying to put the water out. So that's what I was telling you. That's what I wanted you to tell the audience. I mean, in real life, what happens, yes. And then say, okay, this is what you should do. But there's a lot of cases that people have never even heard of a public adjuster. And that's why I say, it's a lot of things. If you don't know, ignorance costs you. I mean, just not knowing something, not being aware of it costs you every day. And there's people in different industries, they depend on you not knowing something so they can take advantage of you. So that's why I wanted you to tell people what's going on and what's the stories you've heard. So they probably say, man, that sounds like me. And I know you got a lot of them because you go all over the state of Florida and you see different cases. So I wanted you to first share that so people can look at what could happen and then share how that person could have rectified that and how you have some insurance companies have said, we're going to give you $20,000. And I've seen you get people over $100,000 after insurance company has given the people a check. Yeah, me too. After people have given them a check. And I want you to tell them, actually, after they've given you a check, I don't want you to think that that's it. You can go back 3 years or just tell me basically what people don't know and what, you know what I mean?
So in the case of a fire, sometimes we will burn up a pot like in the house and we fight with this pot. We throw it outside, but there's smoke and soot all through the house. The house is really smoky. And what we typically do is we open the windows, open the doors, and for 2 days, we try to get rid of that smoky smell. But when you burn up a pot, that's a huge insurance claim. All of your personal property, your clothes, your furniture, all that smells of smoke and soot. So you should be compensated for that, or you should have a professional company to try to clean that. But we don't always know that. We just think it's just smoky. It's not that bad. And if you burn 1 inch of the cabinet, you're entitled to a new kitchen. But homeowners don't always know that. They just think they want to hide it, and they don't want to call the insurance company because they think it's going to be a big deal. But that's what you have insurance for, to make sure when there's an accident, you get compensated for it. So yeah, when there's a fire, sometimes people just want to nip it in the bud. They don't understand that it's a claim and they should be compensated for it. And you shouldn't have to live in a house where it smells smoky and you have to sit there and your kids smell it. And there's 2-3 days that go and you still have smoke in your house. So that's one example of a homeowner getting what they're entitled to, know that you have this policy. And the policy is really important. Everyone has life insurance policy, car insurance policies. There's tons of policies we have, but we need to capitalize on them. We shouldn't dislike them. We should get like them. We should learn how to play the game, understand what we're entitled, and get someone to review that insurance policy when we purchase it. When you purchase
Kevin,
the policy,
I have a question, Kevin. What do you say when people make the accusation that your industry is the reason why insurance is going up? The reason why insurance is so high because of bogus claims. What's your response?
So I would tell any person in this country, the insurance companies have all the leverage. All they do is collect premiums. They don't cut down trees. They don't build roads. They don't do anything. So the insurance companies are hedging their bets when they get all these thousands of dollars they get every year from homeowners. Some people pay $2,000 a year, $50,000 a year. So they want to collect all those premiums. So they want the consumers to think, oh, these people are the reason why your premiums are going up. But the insurance company is the cash cow. All they do is collect premiums. They don't want to give the money back. It's earned income to them. So for them to tell you, oh, you're the reason your premium is going up is because someone filed a claim. No, that's not the reason your premium is going up. The reason your premium is going up is because of greed, because these companies make a fortune. And that's the same way your health insurance goes up, your auto insurance goes up, your life insurance like people just take advantage because they can. That's their golden goose. That's what they have. The industry is just, there's so much money they make annually every year. And they hope and pray that a hurricane never comes. They keep all of those. If no one ever files a hurricane claim, what do you think they do with all that money they collect every year?
They don't give it back.
Yeah, they don't give it back. Give you a break. So there's people that never filed a claim in 20 years. Their premiums still go up. There's people that never filed a claim in 20 years and they filed one claim and the insurance company still tries to shortchange them. So everyone that's taking advantage of someone is always pointing the finger saying they're the reason. But whenever you point the finger at someone, there's 3 fingers coming back towards you. The reason that things happen that way is because they're compensating. They're making all the money. They're one of the largest industries in the world, in the United States of America. And if anyone had an opportunity to collect premiums from hundreds of thousands of millions of people every year, why would you want to give that back?
Right.
Absolutely.
One of the things too, Rob, Linda, that how I got when we did that program to open up and have people talk about some of the things that I don't want to pay that. I don't want to call the insurance company because my insurance is going to go up. So you tried to get the repairs, but you must understand that leak, as he talks about, can create mold in the house. You need to change the floorboards or whatever. And so we just try to keep that premium low. But no, what you need to do is to get, as he said earlier, get what you are entitled to get. And we, quote unquote, don't know that.
Well, the problem is because, James, most of us, if we're paying homeowners insurance or any kind of insurance, even auto insurance, the first thing we do is we call the people who we're paying because we feel they're on our side. Most people have never heard of an independent public adjuster that represents the homeowner. Most people, if they pull out the insurance card and pull out the telephone number and say, listen, whether it's the house, whether it's a car, and they call and say, I had an accident. I mean, most people don't even know that a public adjuster even exists and what their role is. Most people don't. And most people think that they have to pay up front. They don't know that if you get a public adjuster to come and look over your claim, what the insurance companies are telling you entitled to, they don't get a second opinion. They just go what the insurance company says.
And here's the key, Mr. Cooper, you got to get this in. How do you get compensated?
So as a public adjuster, I work on a contingency fee. If there's a hurricane, typically in the state of Florida, they cap the fee at 10%. A homeowner charges 10%. The public adjuster charges 10%. Typically, a public adjuster is able to get a homeowner 40, 50% more than what the insurance companies offer them. So a public adjuster doesn't get paid until the homeowner gets paid. So if the homeowner files a claim, hypothetically, and the insurance company gives a homeowner $10,000, that homeowner made that $10,000 on their own. That's what they gave you. The public adjuster has no right. You don't pay him for that percentage. So after you get paid from the insurance company, if you hire a public adjuster afterwards, then the public adjuster works for a fee. If the public adjuster helps you get more money, another $20,000, $50,000, $100,000, whatever it is, then that public adjuster is compensated on a contingency fee of how much that you get. So if the public adjuster goes out and gets extra $100,000, you would pay that public adjuster a fee for that, 10% or whatever the fee is negotiated. And the homeowner doesn't pay the public adjuster until the homeowner gets paid. So when you hire a public adjuster, there's no fee up front. And the insurance companies, they come out sometimes and the homeowner has a deductible. And sometimes the homeowners don't want to file a claim because they think the insurance company is going to charge them the deductible. But they don't have to charge you the deductible. They take that deductible away from you. So if your deductible is $2,500 and the insurance company owes you $10,000, you shouldn't be paying them $2,500. They should be giving you $7,500. But if they could tell you to pay that deductible, then of course they're going to ask you for it. But you're not obligated to pay that if they owe you.
And you don't know.
Yeah,
right.
You shouldn't pay them. They should just subtract that from what they owe you. Right. So that's how it really goes. And a couple of insurance companies now, they have what they call a work authorization or right to repair. Sometimes they want to tell the homeowner, okay, if you file this claim and you accept the money, we only want to give you $10,000 because that's the limit. If your house has $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 worth of damages, you don't want to accept the 10. You want to have them say, hey, if it's 50, send the contractor. Let's get the contractor to.
But that's the key. And here's the key, Mr. Cooper, and to listeners out there. And Rob, we do have some questions in our chat, so we need to answer some of those. But here's the key. Most times when you accept what that insurance company gives you, it's not based on the cost of repair or replacement.
Correct.
Am I correct? Okay.
Correct.
Go ahead.
And a lot of people are afraid to make a claim because they feel like you said, they got to pay the first deductible, and they say they don't have $10,000 to pay up front because they'll say first you got to pay the $10,000, then we'll come and we'll take care of your claim. But like Mr. Cooper, a lot of people don't know that. They think, hey, they don't have the deductible, so they're gonna fix it, and they're not going to make a claim, and that's from not knowing. You know, we got Aaron. Aaron says, is there a process for states that do not have or use public adjusters? Mr. Cooper, do you know of anything?
Yes. Some states don't have public adjuster. Those states, the homeowner has to hire a licensed contractor. So what they would do in those states, the homeowner would get a licensed contractor, and that contractor would write up an estimate, or that contractor would say, I'm going to do the repairs for the homeowner, and this is what it's going to cost the homeowner. So the homeowner takes that estimate from that contractor, and then he sees the insurance company's estimate, and they put those together, and then the homeowner or the contractor tries to negotiate how much money that they're entitled. Because the insurance company could say it's 50, but the licensed contractor who's licensed by the state could say it's 150. So that's what that homeowner does if they don't have public adjusters. He's got to either get an attorney or a contractor in that state to help him negotiate the avenues to get that settlement. But in Florida, we have public adjusters, and that's the avenue that people should use in this state.
And Rob, let's make another note. Do you know that when they have disasters throughout the country, insurance company have adjusters that go from all over the country to these locations to work for them? And that is why it's so important that, you know, even if your state doesn't have it, that you should seek out information or seek out, as Mr. Cooper said, contractors who will say, quote unquote, oh, they may say the floorboard board will cost this much for replacement. And somebody else say, oh, no, the cost of wood has gone up, or the cost of whatever, labor has gone up. So that's not a fair adjustment. So you really have to be diligent. I've been there, I've done that, and I've had friends and people who have just thanked Mr. Cooper because of what he has done. So someone I saw asked Mr. Cooper your phone number because I saw someone up there said, what's his number?
Yeah, see if you can post some. If you can
Yeah,
post Mr. Cooper number.
Yes, absolutely. They can call me morning, night, or noon. But that's a catastrophe adjuster you're referring to, James. And
Right.
they just go around the country and the insurance company hires them to go and assess these claims. And that's what the homeowner is going to get if they allow that to happen.
Ms. Dupree asked, does this apply to renters insurance as well? In other words, the rules and the regs. If you let's say you're renting and you have renters insurance. I mean, tell me,
So
answer Ms. Dupree's question.
Mr. Dupree. So what renters insurance,
Miss
Dupree. So whenever you rent a property, you should always have renters insurance. The property that you rent, if it's a home, an apartment, or a condo, that building has insurance for the structure. It's a dwelling policy that the owner has. But the renter's insurance is for your personal property. That's for your clothes, your furniture, if you bring in appliances, your jewelry, or whatever it is, that's your personal items that you bring in. So if that place has a fire, if it has a flood, if someone breaks in and steals your personal property, that's what your renter's insurance covers. Your renter's insurance only covers your personal property that you bring into a place that you rent. But the building already has insurance for the dwelling. So that place that you're renting, there's a policy for the roof, for the floors, for the walls, for the kitchen, but it doesn't cover your personal items that you bring in. So that's why renters need renter's insurance to protect their own items that they bring in. Because if something happens,
so if you have a renter's insurance, can she call you if some damage happens?
Yes,
and
we can assess that and make sure that they get that policy maximized. Because sometimes insurance companies, they don't want to just, if your renter's insurance policy is $50,000, they want to say it's $20,000 worth of damages or $30,000. So yes, you need someone to assess that, itemize the list to make sure you get every penny you're entitled. So yes, public adjusters can help homeowners with renters policies also, with renters insurance.
Mr. Cooper, can you call out your telephone number so someone can post it in the post so everyone have access to it?
Ms. Dupree will do that for us. I know she will.
My phone number is 754-581-3341. And my email address is, go ahead.
Repeat it, please.
754-581-3341.
Okay. And you can be reached 24/7?
24/7, 7 days a week, twice on Sundays. Whenever they want to call, I'm available to help out homeowners, not just with residential properties, but also commercial properties. If they have, apartments or buildings or businesses they own, insurance companies don't always want to maximize your claims. So even if you don't have a claim, it's good to let someone take a look at the policy and make sure that you have the right coverage that you need. So when something does happen, you're not stuck holding the bag. A couple of weeks ago, I was on the West Coast over in Sarasota. They had a whole neighborhood that flooded, and only one house had flood insurance. So the difference between flood insurance and your homeowner's insurance, if the water comes up the street, up the sidewalk, into your home, that's flood insurance. That's a different policy than your homeowner's insurance policy. That policy works if the water comes through the roof, from the pipe, from the window. If a pipe breaks in your home, that's your homeowner's insurance. But if the water comes like from a tsunami, or it just comes up the canal and the water comes up your backyard and into your back door, then that's a flood insurance. That's a different policy than the homeowner's insurance policy. And now with the global movement, people need that also. It's best if you have that.
And one thing, Rob, that our people need to know here in South Florida, if you are east of I-95, they're forcing you to have flood insurance.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. They're forcing you.
And I want to just vouch for Mr. Cooper. I've been knowing Mr. Cooper since the 1980s. He's done several claims for me, my family, clients. I see Parnell Victor just posted, Kevin took care of my parents and maximized their claims. I mean, and I remember being home at my house, and my mom called and said, Rob, the whole house is flooded. She woke up, it was probably like 7:30 a.m. And she called and said, Rob, the whole house is flooded. So I said, don't worry, Mom. Don't worry. I'm going to call Mr. Cooper and he'll take care of it. And after I hung up the phone, I said, now, she said the whole house is flooded. And she was panicking. And I said, that's a 2-story house. Because when she said, right, when she said she was panicking so much, she said, oh, water everywhere, boy. Oh, boy. She said, everywhere. She said the house is flooded. And I thought about it. I said, I had a vision, stuff floating around. You know what I mean? And I said, hold on, wait a minute. This is a 2-story house. Just go up the stairs. So anyway, I called Cooper. I called Mr. Cooper, gave him the address. Mr. Cooper said, Rob, don't worry about nothing. And within the hour, Cooper had a whole team at my house. And I never, to this day, I never called the homeowners insurance company. I called Mr. Cooper. He went there with a whole team where they had them fans, they had the plumber, they had everything. And then he called the insurance companies and coordinate everything. I never spoke to an insurance company. And man, I tell you what, they were offering to repair. I mean, it was nothing compared to what Mr. Cooper had got for my mom and me, So I from there I was sold. Then he did one for me personally. So there's a lot of stories that he's really done. James T. And then I remember I called and sent him to James T. And this was early, man. This was early in the 90s, man. And he took the insurance companies told James they're gonna give you this, and Mr. Cooper said, no, we ain't taking that.
One of the things that people must realize too, when you get that public adjuster now, see, because a lot of times people say, you can give me that kind of money. Yeah. And all of a sudden, but the insurance companies will also sometimes, they will, of course, address and negotiate with Mr. Cooper, but they will place the monies in an account so that all the contractors will be paid. So you can't be saying, oh, my cousin does the roof and I'm going to get X number of thousands of dollars for the roof. And then I'm gonna just let my cousin do it. I'm gonna give him a few thousand and I'm gonna keep come on, don't play it that way.
Yeah, you want to make sure you get a licensed contractor to do all the repairs, make sure it's up to code, because if you don't get it repaired professionally and properly and it's not licensed, then you'll have a problem the next time you do file a claim.
Exactly.
Linda, what about you? Have you ever had a claim, Linda?
My mom has. Kevin took care of my mom, Betty Veal. I've had a couple of tenants that had a little stove fire, and to my dismay, they cleaned it up. I'm like, what y'all doing? A good soot fire can be a new kitchen. But they waited.
For you, right?
Don't clean it up. Leave it.
For you, right?
A new kitchen.
Hey, no, Linda. I have a hotel for you. Here's where you go. Because Rob, here was one of the things, I think we brought this out when we had the town hall with Mr. Cooper and his company. Whereas when I think it was Andrew, many people said their homes were totally wiped out. But guess where they went to live? They went to Disney World.
Yeah, I remember.
at the cost of, hey, come on, you don't have a place to stay, or there's based on your policy, and that's what Mr. Cooper has been expressing. So don't just say I can get me one of those whatever flim flam policies. No, you need to know what type of policy that you have, so that you'll know what coverage that you have, so you'll know what you can and cannot do.
Let me ask a question. What's about expiration time for a claim, Mr. Cooper? Expiration time for a claim.
Well, you have a year in the state of Florida to reopen a claim or file a claim. It used to be 3 years, but they changed that statute. Ooh. But also with filing a claim, if it's a water loss, if it's a flood or something happens in your home, the insurance company wants it to be accident and sudden. The hurricanes, you have a year, because sometimes it takes time to see what's manifested itself. But if it's just a water loss or fire or something, typically you want to file that claim within 14 days. Because if you take longer than that, the insurance company may want to say, well, that's long-term or seepage or wear and tear, neglect. So you don't want to have a water loss and dry it up and wait a year later, because they're going to consider it a maintenance issue, and they're not going to believe that that really happened on that date. So
Right.
claims have to be accident and sudden. So you have to contact them within a few days of when it happens. That's different because once a hurricane comes, it may not rain for a week or two. And then a month later, the roof could be leaking, but you know it came from the hurricane. When it's a water loss or flood in your house or something else, then you want to document that and try to get a public adjuster or someone to help you sooner than that. But typically the year is for a hurricane claim. But if it's anything other than that, if you drive the car in the garage and hit the wall or break a pipe, you want to notify them within 7 to 14 days to make sure that it's documented. And they don't come back and say, well, how long ago did it really happen?
Now I learned something because I was sitting here even before the show started with the old rules that you have 3 years.
Yes.
But you just educated me. Now they've cut that back. You don't have 3 years to file a claim.
Wow.
Now you have 1 year. So, man, if you don't notice, if you don't get the update memo, then you can miss the boat easily. That's why I'm glad that you've come on, because I didn't know that. I still thought it was 3 years that you can go back. And even what happens is, say if an insurance company comes out, and gives you money, within that year, and then you later find out that, oh man, I could have got a public adjuster. Is that 3 years or that's still 1 year?
That's still a year. So after you file a claim, if it's any time, you got a year to reopen that claim. You got a year to say, I don't think I was compensated properly, and I want to go back and hire someone else to reassess the damages and get what I'm entitled. So you have a year to reopen the claim.
And that's for the state of Florida. In other words, if someone who's listening here and they settle with the insurance companies, last month or 6 months ago, and they feel like, okay, still don't really feel whole because you didn't have a public adjuster. You just dealt with the insurance company. Contractors told you that the damage is going to be $50,000. The insurance company gave you a check for $20,000. And in your heart, you feel like they ripped you off. So now, instead of 3 years, listen to this program. You have 1 year to go back and reopen that case, so Mr. Cooper can get on the case and help you to try to get more money for your claim. So that's good to know. Wow, that's an update. 1 year now.
But before you finalize that claim, the insurance company sometimes asks a homeowner to sign a release that says that it's full and final settlement. So that's another avenue they'll use. So if you sign that release and says this is full and final payment, then you just null and voided that year you had. Because you could go and tell the insurance company, I accept this amount of money for this claim, and this claim is dead and closed. So before you go and settle that claim by yourself with the insurance company, you need to get someone else to take a look at that for you to make sure they're not trying to get you to sign a release.
People don't know that.
Yeah, people don't know that. People just think, hey, they're my friends, and this is what they're giving me. It's best if you call the public adjuster before you even call the insurance company. To take a look at the policy, make sure make sure you have the right coverages, make sure you know what you're asking for, make sure you know the deductible, make sure it's a covered peril, make sure that they're going to treat you fair. There's no need to just trust them.
Right.
So the moral of this story, really, what you're saying is, if anybody have any type of claim with homeowners, you first should call a public adjuster, because he or she is going to have your back far more than the insurance companies that you're paying the premium to, because it's a what you know thing. And then what you don't know, and they constantly changing the rules and the regs, and you don't know. You 14 days now if you hit the garage. You know what I mean? You thinking you got 3 years, but they just changed that law last week, and you don't know. So you got to have someone that represents you. And the good thing about it is, when you get a public adjuster, you don't have to have no checkbook. You don't have to pay them up front, because the public adjusters don't get paid until you get paid. That's some good stuff.
I agree.
All
That's
right.
best.
Well, Scoop, we appreciate all that you do. And of course, earlier when we started the program, we talked about why we do this show, and it's to serve. So I'm certain that you have said some things that other people needed to hear. And hopefully what they'll do is join you in telling other people as well. Wait a minute. Did you check with a public adjuster before you did that?
Right.
I've had it go both ways. I've had it where the insurance company rushes out. I think it was after Wilma. Da 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 da. And I just listened. Okay, and then I picked up the phone. I said, "Yo, yo, yo," and hey, you came up. And the one thing that, particularly with income property, Miss Linda, hey, Mr. Cooper needs to look over that policy to make sure that we have the type of coverage that we need, because hey, there's always repairs and always things going wrong with the units and stuff like that, and commercial property as well. So hey, so for those people who have businesses, hey, if you live in Florida in particular, hey, check in with Mr. Cooper and have him check out your policy to make sure you have the right coverage. And yes, the policy may cost you more, but guess what? In the end, it'll save you a whole lot of money. Whole lot of
Yes.
money.
And for those who are listening to us and looking at us and hearing us from out of the state of Florida, it's important that you Google or find out, does your state allow public adjusters? Is that the way how they can do it? Is there a better way to do it,
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
So they just Google?
Yeah, they could just Google it. They could go online and look up what that state has. But yeah, you can't beat Google or the internet. That's the easiest way to find out.
Yes, find
sure.
out, does my state, the state of New York, or state of New Jersey, the state of Alabama, the state of Georgia. Do you know offhand, does Georgia have public adjusters? Do you know
I
offhand?
don't think Georgia's, every year they change some rules and regs. They didn't have it for a lot of years. They may have it now. I'm not sure. I didn't research that, but all they got to do is Google it.
Yeah, and
That's
you want to
the
ask, because you want to know your rights, and spread this information to your loved ones throughout the country, man, because it takes a village, and
Yes.
we need to have this information. We need to know, because if you don't know, man, it surely will hurt you. Ignorance costs a lot of money, man. You think education does? Ignorance costs far more. What you don't know will hurt you.
And all we have to do, Robert, is look back over our lives, because we said, if I had only known, I would have.
Yes. All right, Mr. Cooper, thank you so much, brother.
Thank y'all. Have a beautiful weekend. Have wonderful days. Whatever I wish for you all, whatever y'all wish me, I wish y'all double. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, Linda, it's so good to see you, man. I got a couple comments in here. Good to see you, Miss Linda. Oh man, you've been. I mean, you can come back here next Saturday and talk about all the discoveries and all the education that you've learned, the trials and tribulations.
Man, there's been plenty.
Well, guess what, Linda, I won't call his last name, but Mr. Jonathan asked about you this week, and Mr. Tony asked about you a few weeks ago, So you've impressed a lot of people here in Palm Beach County, by what it is that you're attempting to do and what we're attempting to do up here. And we want to thank you for all of your diligence, and you're making contacts with all of our political and public officials.
Absolutely. Yeah. I am learning a lot, it's still very accurate that only 20% of this industry looks like me and my gender and my ethnicity, nationality, that 80-20 rule. So, we're here fighting the good fight. We're fighting the good fight.
Well, I know you got to be excited about the what's happening in our country here. There seems to be a lift coming up with women in power.
Girl
yeah,
power.
I tell people, man, 74 days. Let's get it on. Y'all not gonna be able to tell me nothing, especially as a woman and my last name Harris. Oh man,
I was wondering when that would come in, Rob.
Man, I mean, I will walk in the room and command it. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I really am.
Linda, when you walk in, you just say, "I'm Ms. Harris."
Madam Harris.
I'm Madam Harris.
Yes.
And they'll say, "Wait, are you?" Hey, well, yes.
Can you imagine the boost of little girls? It's just amazing. You don't think it makes a difference, but it does. Representation counts, and it's. I am very, very excited. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what Linda has been telling me and sharing me from time to time, her progress and what she's been doing, but I'm just taken aback of how you really have to have a relationship, and you really have to have friends. You really have to have contact in order to get a lot of things done. Now you would think I would know that from being in the financial planning business, but I just never, I know in terms of my business, what I know and who I know. That's why I do a lot of workshops and a lot of seminars, and I go through a lot of them conferences all around the country because I learned something. But it's the same thing if you want to be in the development, if you want to builder, if you want to get the finances. It's if you know them. If I know James T, if I know Parnell, I mean, it's amazing how, in order to get things done in everything, it's not always what you know. A lot of times, who do you know,
and who knows you? Who knows you?
Who knows you, right, Linda?
Absolutely, Robert. You gotta know the people that know when that pot of money is going to hit the streets. You're gonna need to know the person that knows the rules to get that pot of money. You need 20% of your project elderly, or we need it to be near a transit, then that's another pot of money. Or we can get you 1% if you made it this, income level. And so all of that is really who you know, and they'll tell you, apply right now. You know what I mean? Because other than that, the money is gone. And it's almost, I don't want to say it's rigged. It was rigged when I was on the outside. Now
You don't call it that now.
I don't call it that now.
Call it that now, huh? When you're on the outside looking at it, it's rigged. It's hard to get in. But then when you get in, it ain't rigged no more.
And
That's some of things change.
Rob, and that's not to throw out there
American
that
way.
things are just.
No, but I listen. I paid my dues. I go to a lot of rubber chicken banquets, and
Yes, you do.
I'm
Woo, Lord,
shaking a lot of hands and kissing babies. I am present and accounted for it. So I want to know when the money hit in the streets.
But Rob, what they are telling us are the principles and laws and rules that you can prepare yourself for, so that you can receive these things, because they all come with contingencies. They all come with, you got to do. Hey, it's got to be called workforce housing, or I don't think they call it low income no more. I think they call it workforce. In Florida, there's nothing low income. Lord, man, Rob, I laugh about our 1980 deal back in 1980, Linda, when I first got into commercial properties and stuff like that. But and I was sharing that again to someone earlier. I think it was earlier today. But I tell people, just like you said, Linda, the time to do what you're dreaming of doing is, what time is it? What is 10:04 a.m. The time to do it is right now.
Yeah.
I
think what discourages a lot of people is they want it right. They want to see results immediately.
No, but you got to.
And this is a marathon. It's not going to happen immediately. But as long as every day you wake up, you're getting closer, and you're doing something to get you towards that goal, you'll be all right. But
is that by design? Is that by design that it's a slow motion? Is it that's just the nature of the beast? That's just the way how to get
nature. That's the nature. It really is. It's and I used to get, me so frustrated. Like, why isn't everybody up doing it like me? What do you mean it's going to take this amount? And so I had to just pull up, stop aggravating those people. It's going to take this. That's just the way it is.
That's why they remember you.
Pushy Linda. She's calling again. Why y'all ain't got it done? Why y'all ain't approved my plans? Why y'all ain't?
Exactly. What do you mean it's going to take 2 days to get an inspection? What do you mean? Yeah. So I had to just take it easy.
All of these people that call your name, Linda, we were having a different conversation. And they said, how's Linda? I said, where did that come from?
Yeah.
I'm better now. I'm better.
Yeah, it's amazing how when you go into a different industry, you just got to learn their steps. Got to learn their movements. You can't go in there with your steps and your.
Working with Robert, who cracked the whip every day. Like, I need this. And what do you mean? This was 2 seconds ago. I'm like, Robert. So I took that mentality, of hurry up. And I got like, yo, calm that down a little bit. This is our industry.
Yeah. Because here around the Henderson Financial Group, you got to get it.
You got to get it.
You got to get it. You got okay. This and this got to work on that. Got to do that.
2 seconds ago. Where at?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah. But
that's the whole real estate development, because you're dealing with the city, the county, zoning, all these different departments, right? And then you're dealing with the finance, the different bankers, and then you got to have, and then on top of that, there's personality.
Ooh.
There's different attitudes.
Ooh.
And you got to know how to deal with Mr. Grumpy.
I'm waiting on the grant now and for a new roof, and the guy on vacation. Miss Harris, he'll be back in 4 days. What? It's raining. I need my money and this is just, I got to take my 15-minute break. And then I'm going on vacation.
Yeah.
For anyone else, and it's interesting. I don't want to. Yeah.
It's interesting. That's the way it is. But anyway, hey, Linda, glad to see you back. Now that you don't have to come into the studio, you can just, we just streamline you also.
So then I don't have an excuse to be late, huh? I can't say traffic.
Right. Don't tell everybody.
Yeah.
You can't even get up and get on the computer on time.
You got to boot your computer. Isn't that something, James? We laugh about that. Got to boot my computer up. It's 9:05. Anyway, hey, Mr. Kemp says, get out and vote. We definitely, man, this election here is very, very, very important, man. I mean, don't be slighted. Don't be fooled, man. Some people do anything they'll say anything to win. You just got to know their character. You got to just know what they represent, and you got to know what's in it for them also and what they're facing.
Foolishness is not going to make a difference, and nobody cares. And what's the point? Please stop that. People have died for your right to vote. Please stop that. This is very, very important. It's important in my industry as well. Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, James, we need some prayer, brother.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. I've been using my brother who does chat for us, Linda, a little sibling chat. He's become our leader, and he's been sending out information daily. So he says today, join me in praying, Lord, we need your living water to refresh our hearts and to sustain our spirits. And he took this from the scripture of Psalms 42, 1 and 2. It says, as the deer longs for streams of water, so we should long for you, O God. We trust for God, the living God. When can we go and stand before you? So, Father God, Lord Jesus, Holy Spirit, we ask that today we will be as that deer panting for water in having a relationship with you, so that we can be stronger and we can be committed to being a blessing to others. May those who have heard this message and heard the talk from Mr. Cooper, Robert, Linda, and myself, may they find it in their hearts to share those things that may bless other people. And then, God, I know you will bless them abundantly beyond what they can ask, think, or imagine. So we give because we have to give, and we've been blessed to give. But we know that in our giving, you will give us so much more. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Amen. The church said, amen. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I almost forgot. Monday is the last day to take advantage, to register for that annuity that matches whatever you put in, got minimum 20,000, that matches it 32% or 47%. Boy, that's big. That's the last day. Is Monday to register. Now, you don't have to have your money Monday. All you got to do is call the office and just say, register me. You have 6 months to deposit the money. But if you register and if 6 months go by and you change your mind, there's no skin, there's nothing. You don't owe anybody. There's no charge. but you still want to be able to have a reservation just in case you inherit some money, just in case you retire or you leave the job. All of a sudden, you have this lump sum of money. You can get 32% more when you invest it into this product. It's a fixed index annuity that guarantees, like a pension, like a private pension for yourself that's backed by the insurance companies. Islam says, should we invest in insurance companies? Yes, we should always invest.
You see how much money they're making.
They're making a whole lot of money, you know what I mean? And they're gonna keep on making money because it's better to be insured. That's guaranteed. At least you know, just in case something happened. But again, call the office. Let me give a telephone number out. It's 305-825-1444. That's again 305-825-1444. All you have to do is call and say, I want to put my name down for reservation. I have 6 months to make up my mind. But if you don't register by Monday and Tuesday happen, you're not getting 32% or 47% match on your money that you put in. And like I said, if you're going to retire in January or February or March or even June, around this time next year, once you actually register and then you put a deposit down, even after the 6 months, before the 6 months, then they give you 18 more months to add more money to it, and they'll match it 32% more of whatever you put in. So what if you put in 100,000, they're gonna give you 100, they're gonna give you 32,000 on top of that 100,000. Yeah, or if you want to go longer term, 10 years, you put in 100,000, they'll give you 47,000 on top of the $100,000. So that's really pretty good. So I want you to think about it. If it's not for you, tell your coworker, someone who's getting ready to retire next year, or someone who won the lottery, or a lot of y'all have these CDs of money just sitting, it's worth saying getting out of that CD and putting it into this, because you got a $20,000 CD and you're going to take it, they say you're going to lose. If you take it out early, you're going to pay a penalty. That 29-cent penalty ain't worth it. You know what I mean? You take
Rob,
that.
I know people who've had CDs for 30, 40 years.
I know, man. They just,
oh my God. And sometimes it's almost frightening to say, can I tell you something?
Something new.
Can I
They're like the Flintstones. Oh man, it's something new. You always want to find out what's going on now, because it's always new and improved, So hey, I just want
to give a shout out, Rob. I gotta give a shout out. Don't go first time viewer and listener. Like I said, people have been trying to check in with me and they waited till the end to say something. But Nail Spar. Hey, welcome to the Henderson Financial Group's Understanding Money. Saturday mornings starting at 9 a.m. or if Linda's a little late,
I think I've seen that nail spa before. I think I've seen
Really?
that pop up. Yeah, I think I've seen that.
She just asked me about it recently. So
okay.
I don't know. Maybe
something similar to nail spa. Okay. Good morning. Hey, nail spa. Glad to have you. Michelle Harris, good to see you also. Miss Dupree, there's Miss Liddy Mae Vickers. Amen. Okay. Thank you. And we'll see Linda. We'll see more of Linda now, since she's more convenient for her. She can just click on her computer. We'll see if she's not attending some workshop or some meeting about developers. She's going after the big bucks, but she's gonna actually come back and teach us and show us more after she gets these projects out. They get underway now and they're taking time, but when we have the groundbreaking, we invited each and every one of y'all. All right. Listen, we got to go. Linda, you want to say the last parting words?
Have a great Saturday. Again, it's an exciting election coming up. Don't be bamboozled. Stay focused.
Peace. One love. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Vote.